just recorded this whole intro and realised my mic was on the minimum gain possible, forgetting that when I filmed my last video I put it low because my wife was coughing horrifically in the background. But I hope you're all doing really well. Apologies that I missed the uploads this week. Been a bit of a crazy one. Last week I was on holiday. We went away to Iceland for a week, which was, just amazing. It was the best time. And then we got back on the Sunday, and then it was my birthday on the Monday, and then obviously back to work, so I had lots to catch up on, so I was just stupidly busy. So I had content prepped for when I was off, but not for the week I was back. So here we are. So I'm now filming this on Sunday to hopefully go live Sunday. But I believe we're all kind of planned-ish for literally pretty much the entire remainder of this year, right up until, New Year's. So really gonna try and smash out the content, get back to, I think in theory the plan is to go back to 2 videos a week, Monday and Thursday, as opposed to 1 video every 5 days, which is kind of what we changed to around wedding preparations to give me a little bit more time. But I really want to just produce more content now, bottom line. And also check out the TikTok, that'll be linked in the description. We've been doing 3 videos a week on there, and yeah, it's been a lot of fun. So, but anyways, enough updates and shameless self-promotion. Let's get into the topic at hand. So tonight, as you can tell by the title, we're back with some more niche conspiracy theories. I believe we did a video on this a few months ago and you guys really seem to enjoy it. This is kind of where I try and find conspiracy theories, stories, legends that aren't necessarily like the super kind of mainstream ones, like your 9/11 conspiracies, pyramids, that kind of thing. Try to find some kind of like weird and unique ones that you might not have known. Also, what I've kind of tried to do this time around is find theories and legends, from kind of like a variety of countries and places. I think I've more or less done that, so yeah, hopefully you enjoy this video. As always, I hope it's entertaining and relaxing. Let's get into number 1. While we sit and whisper these, I've also got a little nice mug of coffee. My Le Creuset mug. This was a gift. I would never buy a mug this extravagant normally. It was a present, but I do like it. Anyways, enough mug promotion. Our first conspiracy theory comes from Norway. Hessdalen lights, or Hessdalen lights, natural phenomenon or extraterrestrial signals. What's happening in the skies above the tiny village of Hessdalen in central Norway? Mystery lights that can't be easily explained have reportedly been appearing since the 19th century. But what are they? Natural phenomena or something altogether more otherworldly? So the night skies have been a canvas of wonder for thousands of years, but few celestial phenomena have garnered as much intrigue and speculation as the Hessdalen lights of Norway. Alien lights, aeroplanes or car headlights, electrical charges in local rocks, evidence of miniature black holes or even portals to another dimension maybe. These unexplained illuminations, first believed to have been documented in the 19th century in the Hessdalen Valley, intense frequency that once peaked at 20 times a week. These enigmatic lights have puzzled both locals and scientists alike, becoming one of the most consistent and enduring unidentified aerial phenomena in recent history. Every new encounter with the Hessdalen phenomena adds another layer of mystery to this remarkable story. But what are the Hessdalen lights? Could the Hessdalen Valley be a beacon for extraterrestrial entities, a natural hotspot of cosmic significance, or simply the Earth showcasing one of its lesser-known wonders? So, surrounded by a 15-kilometre valley, the tiny village of Hessdalen in central Norway is home to a few hundred people. The former mining town is largely unknown outside its locality, save for a mystery which has baffled scientists since the early 1980s. The Hessdalen lights are a series of illuminations that are said to appear in the skies over the valley, both at night and during the day. They're reported to have taken a number of forms, including floating orbs, which remain in place for up to 2 hours, fast-moving lights across the sky, coloured lights which appear to separate and reform, blue and white flashes, as well as daytime sightings that resemble metallic objects. There are unverified claims of written accounts of the Hessdalen phenomena dating back to the 19th century, and verbal accounts of these interesting illuminations have been passed down through families since the 1930s. However, the Hessdalen lights didn't draw national and international attention until the early 1980s, largely because word didn't leave the small, tight-knit community until then. It was around this time, somewhere between Christmas 1981 and the summer of 1984, that very high activity was recorded. Around 15 to 20 sightings a week were witnessed, and this attracted both overnight tourists hoping for a glimpse of the mysterious lights, and the scientific community hoping to explain the remarkable phenomenon. Since around 2010, it's believed that sightings have dwindled to somewhere between 10 and 20 per year. Project Hessdalen was initiated as a response to the intense surge of reported sightings of the Hessdalen lights in the early 80s. The purpose of this project was to gather and document data on the phenomenon in a systemic manner. While many locals had been reporting the lights for decades, the frequency and intensity of these observations in the early 80s made the phenomenon an enticing subject of study. Initiated by UFO Norge and UFO Sverige, sorry for pronunciation, two Nordic UFO research organisations, the main goal was to document the Hessdalen lights using scientific instrumentation to determine if there was any discernible pattern or cause to the lights. In the 1980s, researchers would stay in the village to gather as much evidence as possible. The project documented numerous occurrences of the lights, and the data gathered showed that they were not easily attributable to any one specific cause. The colours, durations, and behaviour of the lights varied significantly, and over the following decade, other researchers and institutions took an interest including the Norwegian University of Science and Technology. Project Hessdalen's investigations were significant not only in gathering data, but also in drawing attention to the phenomenon from the broader scientific community. While the exact nature and cause of the Hessdalen phenomena remain elusive, the data from those early investigations provides a foundation for ongoing research and hypotheses. So, the Hessdalen lights have been the subject of intrigue for decades, and they have been extensively studied, but their exact origin remains elusive. Over the years, several theories have been proposed to explain them. So firstly, we have ionized dust. Ionized dust. One theory suggests that the lights are caused by ionized dust. In this scenario, the valley could produce ionized dust at the light sub due to specific atmospheric conditions. Secondly, we have piezoelectricity from quartz. The rocks in the Hessdalen region are rich in quartz. Some scientists suggest that the stress on the quartz crystals caused by the weight of the rocks could produce electric charges. This phenomenon, called piezoelectricity, could then lead to atmospheric light phenomena. It could be combustible gas. Another hypothesis is that the lights are produced by gases. As hydrogen, oxygen, and sodium react, they might produce combustion, leading to the appearance of lights. The source of these gases could be the decaying vegetation or the river running through the valley. It could be atmospheric plasma. It could be caused by atmospheric plasma, where charged particles in the Earth's atmosphere are responsible for creating luminous balls of light. But it could also be extraterrestrial activity. Some of the more unusual theories surrounding the origin of the Hessdalen phenomena, especially due to the light's mysteriously unpredictable behaviour, is that they are signals or evidence of extraterrestrial activity. Though this theory is popular among UFO enthusiasts, it lacks evidence. While these theories of the origins of the Hessdalen lights offer potential explanations, it's important to note that no single theory has been accepted as the definitive cause of these lights in Norway. Alien lights are among the most attention-grabbing ideas, but while the phenomenon is complex, it's possible that multiple factors interact to produce the lights. Continued research with the aid of technological advancements and data from Project Hessdalen will likely provide more insights into this enigmatic phenomenon in the future. I want to have a look at some pictures myself. Search the Hessdalen lights. I want to see what we're working with. Oh wow. That is pretty cool. I imagine throughout this section I've probably put some images and videos, hopefully, if I can find some good ones, good videos on screen. But the images in my article weren't loading, but yeah, they're pretty cool. And I kind of love the fact that there's still no 100% concrete accepted, theory or explanation. It kind of makes the intrigue a little bit more, intriguing. I don't know. in Australia are the famous Min Min lights, described as large glowing balls of light that dance or float just above the ground. They've been witnessed by tens of thousands of people. They are seen moving rapidly, floating or just remaining perfectly still. They glow like giant orbs and sometimes hover before disappearing, as though someone has blown them out. We've been interested in these lights for years and have queried people about seeing them while we've been travelling through outback South Australia, New South Wales, Queensland and the Northern Territory. About 1 in 4 long-term outback residents seems to have witnessed them, but it also seems to be a disappearing phenomena. It's my belief that the sightings are diminishing in recent years, with most being before 1990. I have no idea why this would be so. I would love to be proved wrong. Over the years, scientists have tried to explain the lights using a number of theories. Phosphorescent gases released from underground sources, flocks of insects coated with bioluminescent particles from fungi, but the Fata Morgana mirage theory holds the most credibility. A Fata Morgana is a complex mirage where air passes through a thermal inversion and light is bent. The area around Boulia and the Channel Country provides perfect conditions for this type of event, but so too do many other parts of Australia and the world. The big problem I see with this theory is that most Fata Morgana mirages seem to occur during daylight hours. They show mountain ranges, boats, harbours and even cities. Yet I haven't found any reports of similar styles of mirages like this in outback Australia. You never hear of phantom sand dunes hovering in the sky or upside down road trains, as a Fata Morgana would normally produce. The second issue I have with this type of mirage theory is one that, as any outback traveller can testify to, that if these lights are a reflection of headlights, and that most of the roads on which these lights were seen are deeply corrugated, especially in days gone by, then the orb should be jiggling and jumping all over the place. They should not be floating sedately and serenely along. If we are talking a single light which remains stationary, then that is very plausible as a mirage of the moon or the reflection of a light from a station homestead. But when the orb moves rapidly and floats, questions remain about that theory. There are many books with eyewitness accounts, but not much of the history of the Min Min Hotel. Many people who see these lights believe they have witnessed a UFO sighting, as the orb's movement is so unnatural. It is only after they have spoken about it with others that they relax and begin to understand what a widespread phenomena it is. I can't comment on any of these things, but decided to investigate the historical reason the lights were given their name, and along the way made a rather interesting discovery about a tragic Australian woman. Whether it has anything to do with where they have originated from, I'll leave you to decide. It was on the 20th of December 1934. A poem was widely published in the newspapers. This is the poem which I believe led to the notoriety of the Min Min lights. Written by D.B. O'Connor, it follows the story of a horseman who tells the tale of riding near the Min Min Hotel when he sees a phosphorescent bird and becomes frightened. So I bolted as the Kaiser, and he rides non-stop was meant to be Boulia. As this poem was released across the country, more and more reports of the lights spread, but the area around the Min Min Hotel was the centre of the greatest activity. Although there were some sightings of the lights pre-1930s, most are after the poem was published, and by then they are widely reported in newspapers as being seen over the graves at the back of the ruins of the Min Min Hotel. The hotel site is just off the road between Boulia and Middleton, Queensland. Built in the early 1880s, the hotel was a stopover for the Cobb and Co coach as it made its way from the remote stations of Boulia to Windon. One of the first hotel keepers was William Thomas Copley Lilly, whose wife died in 1897 and is buried across the creek from the hotel site. Her grave is very well kept, very different from the graves behind the ruins of the old shanty known as the Min Min. It was in 1889 that James Collins, a labourer, died of thirst on the road near the Min Min Hotel. The weather had been unbearably hot, with temperatures recorded at Winton of 114 degrees Fahrenheit. During this period in history, when people died, they were buried near the nearest human habitation. James died within 4 miles of the hotel, and the back of the hotel was a common practice. It is pretty safe to think he might be one of the first burials behind the Min Min. William Lilly held on to the licence until 1912 when he handed over to Jane Macmillan. Jane is very mysterious. She's only around for a short while and then she seems to simply disappear after she hands over to Agnes Evelyn Hessdalen in 1915. I've done extensive research on Jane Macmillan, but to no avail. It is possible that she passed away and was buried out the back of the hotel site as well. Agnes is the woman who interests me the most. When Agnes took over the hotel, she had already lived a difficult and tumultuous life. Her early years were spent as a domestic servant in the UK, before heading out to Australia with her brother. In the lead up to the purchase of the hotel, she had lived many years in the district, and she registered stock brands, so must have been involved in the breeding of cattle. Agnes had her first dealing with death near the Min Min when she helped William Lilly during the tragic death of his wife in 1897, and then shortly after, her brother-in-law was all over the newspapers. He had murdered his wife while his children slept beside and then attempted to take his own life. Life dealt Agnes her first personal blow in 1898 when her 9-year-old son was lost at Thompson's Tank next door to the Min Min Hotel. He was found barely alive but so badly eaten by ants that he perished on the way to Boulia. It was within a few years that I can find the earliest written or documented references about the lights. The notes were published in a newspaper in 1926 and suggested it was 1902 when they were first seen in the district. The article goes on to say they were again witnessed in 1914 when kangaroo shooters let off their rifles at the lights with no reaction. Just prior to that, in 1912, Agnes had lost another child by the name of Horace Fredericks Asted, aged 4. By 1915, Agnes had taken over the license and ran the hotel on a shoestring. Some newspaper reports refer to the hotel as a shanty, giving the appearance of it being somewhat disreputable. Most of the time, Agnes ran the hotel with only the help of a domestic servant, although her son Lionel lived on site. She and her husband had split, and he had moved to Winton, where he worked as a carrier. In the beginning, the domestic servant was a girl by the name of Mary Mathieson, who vanishes about 1916. It is possible that she lies in another one of the graves out the back, and may even be the source of some of the very interesting tales that surround the hotel during this time. It was reputed that one of the ladies at the hotel would make sure that the menfolk were always comfortable during their stay. It was after this that Agnes's daughter-in-law Gladys joined her in running the hotel. And then again tragedy struck Agnes and her family. Agnes only had one relative in Australia, a brother by the name of Harry Springthorpe, who was working on nearby Warrender Station. In October of 1917, he and a number of others were employed in fighting a bushfire. The buggy that they were on became encircled by lighting and was in long grass. The men got out and ran, but fire overtook them. When found the next morning, they were still alive, but described as having been roasted. Gosh. Harry and another died before the Cobb and Co coach could get them to hospital in Boulia. After the inquest, it was stated that the men were buried in Boulia, but I can find no mention of Harry's grave in the records of gravestones. The fact that Agnes had a private graveyard behind her hotel, and that he was her only sibling, makes me think that she would have wanted his body close by. It's very possible that he is another in one of the unmarked graves. It's only a few years later that again lightning and fire comes again to haunt Agnes. It takes her livelihood and leaves nothing but ruins and graves to mark the spot where 40 years previously stood a beautiful new country hotel. On February 22nd, 1924, a huge storm came through the area. The railway was washed away between Hewenden and Winton, and there were many reports of lightning strikes. Shortly after came the news that the Min Min Hotel had been destroyed by fire. Agnes's life didn't end there. She moved to Townsville, but was a regular visitor back to her son's establishment, the nearby Hamilton Hotel. And from all accounts, this hotel was a much better place of business. It regularly raised money for the hospital in Boulia, was a place for excursions for the nearby townsfolk, and held country athletic meetings in the sports ground behind the hotel. But Agnes's life of tragedy was not over yet. In 1922, her son Henry John died aged 26, with another son's wife dying at 23 years old, and another daughter at the age of 30. Agnes then took on the raising of her grandchild. In 1953, Agnes passed away and was buried in the same area that is famous for the lights. Her grave is at the Hamilton Hotel ruins, right next door to the remnants of the Min Min Hotel. The story of Agnes and the Min Min Hotel seems to be one of fire and grief, and the lights of the Min Min are quite prevalent during the period of Agnes's reign. There is no question about the lights being seen all over outback Australia later, but I am just looking at the death and tragedy surrounding this one woman, the era in which we have documented evidence of those first sightings, and the area which gave the lights their name, the Min Min Hotel. Wow, I don't much like the Hessdalen ones, and kind of unexplainable and strange. And then sort of surrounding that, you've got this awfully tragic, tale of, death and everything that was occurring around the time that the lights were rising to prominence in that area. Yeah, pretty insane, to be honest. Right, we're moving over to Russia now. Watch out, the doors are closing. The Moscow Metro and its secrets. On May 15th, 1935, the first 13 metro stations on the Sokol-Nicheskia line were officially opened in Moscow. The long history of the Moscow Metro began with this event. Today it's difficult to imagine a city without familiar stations, train noise and motley crowds of citizens travelling in different directions along colourful branches. They write books about the subway, dedicate songs to it, and show it in games, movies and TV series. There are also many interesting stories connected with the Moscow Metro. What are pathfinders afraid of? Where in the underground city can you see ancient fossils? What is the secret of the ghost train? The answers are in this article. So the Moscow Metro has been under construction and improved for many years. Numerous changes have been constantly made to the project. It's not surprising that during the construction process, the passages and tunnels often changed their direction, and the extra openings were walled up. Gradually, the presence of such places was overgrown with additional rumours and gossip, which Muscovites and visitors generously shared with each other. It was believed that obscure doors in the wall and stairs could lead directly to secret bunkers, or even to the secret Metro 2 line. However, the reality turned out to be much simpler. Most of these structures are a common flaw of the designers. If you want to awaken your imagination and see the mysterious doors and closed stairs with your own eyes, then go to the stations Alexandrovsky Sad, Smolenskia and Tretyakhovskia. Ancient fossils on the walls. When working with the decoration of the first Moscow stations, several different types of granite and marble were used. In some of them, the remains of fossils of organisms and creatures from the Jurassic period were found. The Moscow Metro has more than 50 stations where you can now see the legacy of the past. Ancient shells and corals are visible in marble at the junction between Trubnaya and Svetnoy Boulevard stations. And the largest fossil, with a diameter of 60 centimeters, is located at the Victoria Park station. This is an ammonite, an extinct cephalopod. Next up we have the ghost train on the Ring Road. Not only ordinary stories are connected with the subway, but also creepy legends. One of these can be heard from Moscow diggers. Rumour has it that you can meet a ghost train on the Ring Road after midnight. It goes counterclockwise and stops at all the stations, but never opens its doors. The carriages of the train are painted in a dull sandy colour. People who saw the train claimed that there was a man in an old uniform from the 40s in the driver's seat. Haggard and tired passengers in grey clothes were sitting in the passenger cars. Skeptics say that all trains are simply being driven around the ring at night, which the eyewitnesses encountered. But the guides say that after midnight on the ring line, automation sometimes works, warning about the composition on the track night, but life there is in full swing around the clock. Hundreds of employees from control, repair and cleaning services are preparing everything for the next working day. These include track crawlers who monitor the condition of tunnels, tracks and crossings. Many places in the subway are not illuminated, so the crawlers carry lanterns with them to illuminate the road. Workers often share creepy tales about what happens in empty tunnels deep underground. Someone noticed strange shadows on the walls of the tracks. Someone heard quiet whispers and chuckles behind their backs. Some swore that they saw strange multicolored lights in the darkness of the tunnels, green, blue or bright red. We have entrance to the Metro 2. The stories about Metro 2, a classified government network, have very real roots. The fact is that the Metro was supposed to perform many functions, including allowing the country's leadership to quickly get to the right places in case of danger. The guides say that an extensive network of tunnels was built during the Soviet era. Their laying went deeper than the level of the civilian subway. Metro 2 is equipped with everything you need, from food supplies to a nuclear button. Diggers and adventurers have been trying to get to this facility for many years, building theories about where the entrances to the secret tunnels are. But the mystery of Metro 2 still remains unsolved to ordinary people. And then we have unusual finds. The construction of tunnels often helps to dig up unusual things. Old documents, shell casings, treasures and caches. And sometimes there are really unique finds. On the site of the Borovitskaya metro station, metro builders discovered a miraculously preserved brick house with furniture and dishes. The story was immediately overgrown with a huge number of rumours. Residents of the capital decided that the house was cursed. It later became clear that evil spirits had nothing to do with it. The building was underground due to a natural disaster, but this case has long stirred the minds of residents in the capital. That was a few kind of creepy theories and legends about the Moscow Metro. Right, and our fourth and final topic is, what is Cicada 3301 mystery? Cicada 3301, the hardest puzzle on the internet, was born on January 4th, 2012. It is regarded as the most intricate and enigmatic riddle of the internet age. A mystery group known only as Cicada 3301 had 3 times uploaded puzzle sets in an effort to enlist the world's fastest and smartest code breakers. Initially published on websites like Reddit and 4chan, this puzzle ran for almost a month. Data security, cryptography, steganography and online anonymity were major themes throughout the riddles. Many theories exist regarding its purpose, and it has been dubbed the most intricate and enigmatic conundrum of the internet age, and one of the top 5 eeriest unresolved mysteries of the internet by the Washington Post. The NSA, CIA, MI6 and a Masonic conspiracy or a cyber mercenary company have all been suggested as potential employers of the puzzle. Others have claimed Cicada 3301 is an augmented reality game despite the fact that nobody has tried to make money off of it. Some of the finalists think Cicada 3301 is a holdover from the cypherpunk movement of the late 1980s and early 90s. The riddle said, "Hello, we are looking for highly intelligent individuals. To find them we have devised a test. There is a message hidden in this image. Find it and it will lead you on the road to finding us. We look forward to meeting the few that will make it all the way through. Good luck, 3301. A year later, on January 4th, 2013, the second puzzle was posted, and exactly 1 year later, on January 4th, 2014, the third was made available. On Twitter, the first hint was published. On January 5th, 2016, a different hint was published on Twitter. The final problem, however, has yet to be solved. Techniques include encryption, decryption, decoding ciphers, utilizing cryptographic techniques, steganography, and numerous code-breaking techniques are used to solve these riddles. Although the ultimate purpose is still unknown, the stated goal of the riddles each year was to attract very clever people. Some people asserted that Cicada 3301 is a covert organization with the objective of enhancing encryption, privacy, and anonymity. Cicada 3301, according to some, is a cult or a religion. 3301 normally uses non-puzzle based recruiting methods, but invented the Cicada puzzles because they were looking for potential members with cryptography and computer security expertise, according to statements of numerous people who won the 2012 problem. It is anticipated that the solution to the puzzle will reveal these persons' identities. After the participants complete one puzzle, a considerably more difficult one is shown to them. Participants should be well versed in topics such as coding, cryptography, encryption, steganography, etc. The identity of the persons behind this puzzle and the motivation behind wanting such smart people on a team remain a complete mystery. There have been accusations that Cicada 3301 is a secret society, while some have asserted that it is a cult or a religion. Many of the persons who claim to have solved the 2012 puzzle solution claim that while 3301 generally used non-puzzle based recruiting strategies, they developed the Cicada puzzles in order to find potential members with expertise in computer security and cryptography. The specifics are still unknown. Marcus Wanner figured out the first puzzle of 2012. He claims that individuals who completed the riddles were questioned regarding their stance on censorship, internet privacy and freedom, and support of information freedom. Those who responded appropriately at this point were invited to a secret forum where they were given instructions to create and finish a project meant to advance the group's ideals. The website was taken down because he did not complete his work on a generic decryption mechanism. One of the most contentious issues among those who solve technological challenges is Cicada 3301. Joel Erickson and Marcus Wanner are two of the select few who have cracked Cicada, but were unable to discover the mystery's perpetrator. Joel claimed that he was sent to a location on the secure Tor network. Erickson had to rely on others for assistance because the coordinates pointed to telephone poles in many nations, including Spain, Russia, America, France, Japan and Poland. finish every step along the way, as Ericsson had. To get there he needed assistance. Cicada 3301 hasn't yet been shown to be a legitimate intelligence agency, an organisation that uses unconventional methods of recruiting, or an underground group with no connection to any official goals. However, it is unknown if it is hazardous, or what a covert underground organisation's goals are. To be fair, I might wrap up filming and just easily solve those 3 puzzles, because for me, like, I imagine they'd be, super, super easy. But definitely an intriguing, an interesting one. One of those things that potentially will never be properly explained. But that is going to do it for tonight's video. That was 4 niche conspiracy theories / legends. I really hope you did enjoy. I actually do have a further list of 4 or 5. I think it's 4 or 5 more, which I kind of found as I was doing research. So if you do want to see another one of these niche conspiracy theory videos, well, I've got it locked and loaded. If enough people like this video,